Greetings. This is Arvette McLean with Speak, The Universe Listens. New ways to view age-old challenges. Change your thoughts, change your life. Step into the bigness of you.
Hey, fellas.
Hey.
How y'all doing?
Great.
Good. So, I was thinking this morning when I was at the park, I was thinking about, I don't know specifically what I was thinking about, but I was thinking about third, fourth, and fifth dimension, right? And I was thinking about, like, in third dimension, like if it was something I wanted, my thinking was I had to work hard for it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I can work hard. Like, I'm probably the hardest working person most people ever know, or whatever. So, but I would just, be in the grind. I put my nose to the ground. I do everything, like everything that came in my head to be done. And then at some point, as I was transitioning and growing, then I was like, okay, I can kind of like visualize the things that I want or whatever. And I would like kind of visualize it. And then it was kind of like it made it easier to get it or whatever. And I think that's where so many people in our world are right now. Like, people do the vision boards, they do the affirmations. You always talk about people visualizing and stuff like that. And so I did go through that kind of phase where visualize, and then it's like it helps. It does help above, the work hard or whatever. It's like you still had to work for it, but it's like something, it's a shift, right? Mm-hmm. And then now, probably for the past, I started being aware of fifth dimension in 2020 during COVID. And since that time, like, I'm able to shift into fifth. I typically stay there more so than not, but typically I would be able to shift. Like, I'll recognize that I'm doing fourth, and then I shift into fifth. And so with fifth dimension, it's recognizing that you have it now. You already it now. You're not separate from it. And so, like, I was talking to my mom today about a situation, and I can tell you about the situation, but I don't know if it'll make sense to you without actually seeing it. Right. But the bottom line is, I was like telling my mom that my hair had been falling out, right? So it's like I have this much hair that came out in the course of 1 week. And so, she was just like, oh, kind of like flabbergasted or whatever. The same as my husband, he's just like, what's going on? And I'm just like, well, I'm okay with it or whatever. And so I went on to explain the reason why I was okay with it, which was because I'm already it now. What I want to put my attention on is whatever I want more of. It's not that I don't have it now. I have it now. I just want more of it. And so I'm going to get more of whoever I'm being, not more of whatever I want. So if I'm saying, oh, I'm losing my hair, I want to get my hair back or something like that, then I'm being a person who has lost their hair. But if I'm a person that is saying, oh my gosh, I'm so thankful for the hair that I have, and I'm loving on the hair that I have, then I will get more of that. And so just really like doing this shift is kind of like what I want to talk about. And I have such a worthy story to tell, but I'll say that for later. But just see if you guys have any thoughts on that.
Well, I know, like, for like a year now or so, when people ask me how I'm doing, I say I'm great. But, you know, at first I was just like, I'm going to just start saying I'm great every time. But now, when I say I'm great, even if I'm not feeling the greatest, that just triggers my mind like, oh no, I'm great. And then it make me think like, it puts me into that place like, oh, I ain't worried about that because I am great though. Yeah, and so I felt like that's been a shift for me over the past year, is saying I'm great, but not only saying it, then moving to feeling it. Even if I wasn't, my mind has shifted to where I can say, oh no, you are great. And then I start feeling it.
I would say, now I'm thinking about it, I know the biggest thing I know that I'm aware of now is, at one point, my environment, right, used to affect me a lot. So by myself, I'm cool, I'm fine, I'm dandy, I'm in fifth dimension, right? But then let's just say if I have to go to work and everybody is just they in 3D, right? And I notice that sometimes their energy can affect me, right? And then I'm just like, I'm back and forth. And then I'll go into 3D and then I just start thinking how everybody else is thinking, right? And then I wonder why my mood changed, why I'm feeling a certain way. And then I get off from work, I'm going back to, now I'm in fourth, right? Now I'm like, I don't even know why I was feeling like that. You know what I'm saying? Why I was, you know, I'm sort of like in between. And I've learned that I was really, anywhere that I go, that I ain't gonna say I don't, but nothing can affect my reality of who I am and how I feel, except for me. So I'm allowing the outside world to affect how I'm supposed to be, you know, thriving out here in fifth dimension. But I learned that I have to, I'm gonna say I have to, but you know, I love being in that space of just love, light. There's nothing that is affecting me because, I mean, everything is happening for me, not to me. So keeping that awareness all the time helps me a lot with when I'm in those environments, as to where it's very easy for me to get sucked into the, you know what I'm saying, sucked into the mess. And I'm like, all right, I'm aware of it. I know what to expect, and now I know how to maneuver and get back to where I want to be at.
And I like the saying, you know, you get more of what you be and not what you want too, because it just always makes me think back to, you know, at the time in my last job, I'll never forget. So I was fundraising and whatever, and I remember it was just like this period where things were just going great for the team. Like everything was just going well. We were knocking goals out of the park, and I remember what I felt had sparked it was us sitting down in the meeting. I was like, you know, as long as we all feel good and we feel good about the things we're doing, we're gonna reap good benefits as well. And so I remember I said that in that meeting, and then later on that day we got a random large gift, and then like later on the next week we got another gift, and everybody was just good and having a good time. And I always felt like it was because we weren't coming from a place of we need to get this money. We were coming from a place of, yo, we this money, we the truth. Like, yeah, like everybody, because we were also going on speaking engagements and like just really sharing our passion and like how we're doing it. And like, yeah, so I think all the time that what sparked our success wasn't, I always feel like we used to at some point think, okay, we were feeling good because of the success. But then I started to feel like, no, the success came because we were feeling good. And I think that when we made that flip is when things started going like tremendous for us. Mm-hmm. And so I think about that all the time, you know, that if you continue to be more of what you are, not what you want to be, because I think it's also clear to state that you are literally everything. So if you want to be abundant and rich, you are already abundant and rich. And so it was when I was walking around feeling that way that my life, everything on the outside also reflected what I was feeling inside.
Yeah, so often we create the gap because we're like, I want something out there. I want something out there. And so as long as you're saying I want it, then there's a gap between where you are and where you want to be. And so basically we're closing the gap. Because if you create the gap, you are a creator, you're a powerful creator. So if you're creating the gap, then there's a gap.
Right.
And so when you start to realize that you already are it now, and then look for where it's already happening in your life. And so at one point for most of last year, I was feeling like my freedom had been diminished. So I was feeling trapped. And so I started doing, visualizations. And usually anything that I do, when I get in alignment, everything happens. It just flips on a dime. And so I would keep getting in alignment and everything would flip. But then I would get out of alignment and everything flip back. And then I get in alignment and everything flipped. Then I get out of alignment and everything flip back. And so eventually I was like, okay, I'm going to use my journal. I'm going to write this stuff down. And so every day, every morning, I would do a visualization, but I would also write it down. I would be visualizing myself, standing on the cliff and just being free and, feeling myself at the ocean and seeing myself running through daisy fields and, all kinds of stuff, right? And I was doing this for like 2 or 3 weeks. And nothing was changing. It was, as a matter of fact, everything was getting worse. And I was like, what am I doing? Why isn't this working for me? And so I realized that what I was doing, I would create this beautiful vision. And then I would open my eyes and I'd be like, So I actually felt worse after doing the vision than if I hadn't done it at all. And so the visualization was not helpful for me. It was doing the opposite, right? Because it was making me more aware of the distance between where I wanted to be versus where I was. So I was making the gap huge or whatever. So that's just a good thing to put a pin in, the different ways you can visualize and which ways they could be helpful and which ways they couldn't, and that they might not be. But at any rate, it was a morning when I kind of was, why isn't this working for me and stuff like that. And so per usual, I got these phone calls saying the help wasn't coming. No, the help was supposed to come in at 8:00. No show. Then I don't even feel like telling y'all what happened next, but then I got this phone call that was basically like, what you had in place, that ain't gonna work. That's not gonna happen. Or whatever. So the morning, by 8:30, the morning was already like, here we go. And it had just been like that. And so anyway, I was thinking why isn't this working for me? And I had a memory of a television show that I had recently watched. And make a long story short, the person was in captivity, but they had a window about this big that they can look out and see outside. And so they can look at the sky, the birds, etc. Long story short, they ended up losing that window, so then they didn't have anything, right? And I was thinking about that, although they were in captivity, now they're really in captivity. Now they really can't see. And it's a long story of the thoughts that I was having. But I realized that I was living like I wasn't free. I was living like I was trapped. My thinking was that I was trapped. And so in that moment, I was like, I can go outside anytime I feel like it. And I can look at the sky. And so I went outside and I looked at the sky and I saw the birds. I was like, I can see birds anytime I feel like it. I can see trees. And my car was right there. I was like, I can get in my car and I can go anywhere I want to go. And I was like, I can put on anything I want to put on. I can eat anything I want to eat. I can say whatever I want to say. I can read whatever, and I was just going down this list and I was just getting excited. Why did I think I wasn't free?
Yeah.
And so I started putting my energy, I just started, in that moment, I just started putting my energy on everything that I could do anytime I felt like it. The phone rang, and they were like, the person that's late, that, you know, they're on their way. The other thing that didn't work out, we got a new one. And it was literally instant. And from that point, because when I say everything was crazy, everything. But from that point, everything lined right up. Boop, 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 boop. No more, no call, no shows. Mm-hmm. Everybody who was supposed to come to help, they came to help. And then everything got put in place that needed to be put in place for me to actually, just a couple of weeks later, be sitting on that cliff that I was envisioning.
This conversation makes me think of our children's book, Superpower Activated: The Adventurous Tales of Maximus and O'Shea. Go get that. But anyway, it makes me think of that because every book I sign, your superpower is within, activated. And what I'm saying basically is that you are already it. Everything you need is already within. You already have it. All you have to do is tap into that activated. And so this conversation makes me think of that because it's a reminder that, hey, I already have my superpower. It's just on when I flip the switch.
And you know, I was listening to what you were saying, Abed, as far as when you say I want, and that's creating a gap. For quite some time now, I've been working on what I say to myself, you know, and my words, the words that I use. I sort of be a lot more careful with how I say, like, you know, if I'm just talking to myself, and I'd be like, dang, you know, I want to feel this way, or I want, and that was one of the biggest words I would say, I want. And I get into the awareness of like, hold up, I already have it. Mm-hmm. So I've just been creating this whole gap this whole time. So I would tell anybody just being more mindful of the words that you use and what you tell yourself. It'll help you a lot.
And I want to go back to the visualizing point that you made too, because I feel like I've recently in the past been visualizing and creating a gap, and I'm realizing it like now, but also a little earlier too. Like, I'll never forget there'll be moments where I'm like, man, you know, I just want to get back to Barbados. And so I'm like, you know, I can close my eyes and I'll go. And so I'll close my eyes and I'll do it. But the issue that I'm now realizing I was doing was when I was opening my eyes back up, I wasn't in Barbados. And the issue that I feel like I was having was, well, that's because I wasn't really visualizing what I wanted. Or not wanted, I wasn't visualizing what I am. Like, if I say I wanted to go to Barbados, there was something I was feeling there, and I needed to feel that feeling. But instead, I was just closing my eyes, picturing a place, and like I feel the feeling when I'm at that place. But the minute I open my eyes, I'm like, yeah, but this ain't that, so this ain't working. But now I realize, like, you know, as long as I continue to be all that I'm looking, like whatever I mean when I say I want to go to Barbados, that's what I need to be, and then I'll be in Barbados. Not, oh, I want to go to Barbados because it makes me feel this way, and if I go there, then I'll feel this way.
That bears repeating. So, let's see. So basically, a lot of times we say, visualize whatever it is you want, right? And we will visualize, let's say, a car or a house or whatever the thing is. But really, the feeling that you want is, how does that thing make you feel? Like, that's really what when we're visualizing, we're supposed to be, but we're visualizing what that thing, how that thing will make us feel, or how we think that thing will make us feel. So if I got a new house, how would that new house make me feel? That's the feeling that I want to now have. And so when I'm visualizing that feeling the feeling, then that's the feeling I want to continue to feel every day. I want to be that feeling. And that feeling is the vibration that will allow things on similar vibration to come to you.
I also want to be more grateful about, how do I even want to word that? Because I don't want to be more grateful for the things I have. I want to be, what am I trying to say? I think I would like to spend more time acknowledging to myself that I don't have to want more of something because I am already that. And I want to make sure that I'm really pouring into that instead of saying, yeah, I want to be more of this and I want to be more of that. Like, I want to make sure that I know, first of all, you already are that. So I feel it's amazing that we have the power to be so many things at once. Like, so if I want to feel ultimate joy, I just need to feel ultimate joy. But I also, like, if I want to be upset, then that's the emotion I'm going to create. Like, just knowing that I am powerful enough to dabble into whatever feeling or whatever bag I want to dabble into and be that in that moment. I think it's just so special.
I know, and there was something Stephen had said that made me even think of this topic, and now I can't pull it up or whatever, but like a lot of times we'll think, like somebody might say, be grateful that you got up this morning. Like, that's reason enough to be happy. You got up this morning, right? And I know the old me would be like, and
Right.
okay, I got up, but everything stuck. So what is that? Or whatever. Or a lot of times people be like, be grateful for what you have or whatever. And you're like, yeah, I'm grateful I got my family, and you know what I'm saying? You might come up with a handful of things, but you're not really in it. But I think it's two things that really flip for me. One is like when I think about all the things that has to be going on with my body in order for me to be sitting right here. Everything that's going right. Because I'll focus on, oh, my knee hurt. Why, I can't run because my knee. But what if I couldn't walk? What if I couldn't sit up? You know what I'm saying? It's so many different things that it could be worse. So why not be thankful, grateful, acknowledge what is happening? I'm breathing. I can blink my eyes, I can see, I can taste, I can hear, I can smell, all these things, and just being grateful for that. But another thing that it just like blows my mind, I'm trying to think of an example, but I can take anything, but let's just take a box of Fiddle Faddle or Crunching Munch, because I like Crunching Munch. A box of Crunching Munch. And I bought a box of Crunchy Munch from the Dollar Tree for $1.25. And I was like, I wonder how can they afford to sell me this box for $1.25? And so that just took me down a rabbit hole that I love going down, because then I'm like, all the people who need to get paid from this box, and I'm thinking, okay, whoever, the cashier that just sold that to me. And then I'm like, okay, and the person who put it on the shelf. And then I'm like, at first I'll be like, the cashier sold it to me. Then I'll be like, the person who created the cash register. And I'll be like, whoever put the cashier on the schedule today. Right. And I'll be like, whoever put it on the shelf. And who brought it to the, the truck that it came in on, the truck driver. And who made the truck? And the wheels on the truck, who came over? You know what I'm saying? And I can just go and, from this one box of cracker, what did I say? Crunching Munch. Somebody had to make the box. Somebody had to put the picture on the box. Somebody had to make the camera that took the picture to put on the box. Somebody, and when I go down the list for that one box of Crunching Munch, somebody had to grow the popcorn, etc. It's like, it seemed like you've now touched upon everybody in the world, right, just for this one box of Crunch. So when I think, I don't even know, but I just think that's just so amazing. Like, I just think it's just huge. And then I'm just so thankful, like how we're all just so interconnected, and yeah.
Sometimes my mind, I can I can sometimes be thinking like, dang, when I'm feeling like, I don't know, I'm just not in the best of moods, right? And I just remind myself like, you sitting here complaining. Look at what you like. Just look at your surroundings, right? Look at what you have going on, right? Like, where was you at last year? Where was you at 2 months ago? You know. And so when I think like that, it just really refreshes me and just gives me a smile on my face and just puts me more in a positive mood. Cause I'm trying to tell you, it be those days sometimes, but.
Yeah, but we're definitely already it now, and if so, so over the years I've had favorite sayings. You get more of what you want. I mean, I'm sorry, what was it? Focus on what you want, not what you don't want.
Right.
It's happening for you, not to you. You get more of. You don't get more of what you want. You get more of who you're being, and you already are it right now. So those are like probably my favorite sayings. But like right now, you are it right now. And if like to drive that home, if we can like really get that on a visceral level, like you are it already. Everything you want, you already have. And I know that sounds crazy to people were like, I don't have this, I don't have that, or whatever. But your very thinking that you don't have it is the very thing that's keeping it away. Well, thank you guys for joining me on this conversation.
Yeah.
All right, and thank you guys as well for joining us today. And remember, you are already it now. And we look forward to chatting with you again soon next week. So we'll see you then. This is Arvette.
This is Steve.
Teron.
Rodney.